Okay, well, let's excuse me. Let's get started. Can everyone hear me okay? Lovely. Okay, so this week we're gonna get stuck into some box modeling and we're gonna do this car. As you can see, nice little car, nothing too overwhelming. I'm just gonna close Discord. So this is what we'll end up with, hopefully by the end of today. I'll suggest that you just watch the stream. I think that might be an easier way of just concentrating on what I'm doing. The video will be up, so if you want to take a look back at it and maybe give it a try, that's okay. So let's get started. Okay. Let's go. So we're going to start with our cube and turn it into a rough shape of our car. So we press 3 to go into right orthographic, and then we're going to scale along the y-axis. So scale y to about roughly there-ish. And then we're going to scale along the x-axis to about there. Then we're going to go into edit mode by pressing tab, ctrl R to put some loop cuts in. We're going to use 2, left click again. And then we're going to scale these out to kind of divide the box up into 3 sections. So scale on the Y, roughly about there. And then go into face select by pressing 3 and select the top one. Go into right orthographic, scale on the, no, Control X to undo that. And we're going to extrude on the Z to about there. So we've got the rough block outline of the car. Then we're going to scale the top, so S, just scale it in a bit more maybe. And with our move tool, I'm just going to move it back slightly so that we get more of a curve, more of a slope on the front than the back. And so go to the front. I'm going to put another edge loop that goes down the middle of the car, like so. Yep, that's about right. And in edge select, or 2, I'm going to select this and that edge, the back edges, and we're going to scale out on the Y, like so. Into edge, right orthographic, into face select. Just going to move the back in a bit, like so. Move the front in a little bit, not as much as the back. So we're just kind of boxing out the shape that we want to achieve. Yep. And go back into edge select and grab these 3 and these 3, holding shift to select multiple edges. And then we're going to scale on the X so we can taper in a little bit like that. Okay, so we've got the rough shape. Is everyone following so far? Quickly switch these on. T. Okay. Everyone okay? Yep. Got my keys on. Perfect. Okay. So we've got our default cube, and we're just gonna kind of pull it out and push it in to get the shape of the car that we're aiming for. So we'll go press 3 on your numpad. We're gonna scale on the Y, so that's S and Y to about there. Then we're going to do the same widthwise, so scale on the X, put that out slightly, go into edit mode and Ctrl R to put a loop cut. We're going to have 2 of them, like so. Then we're going to scale them out on the Y to make the 3 sections of the car. Okay, so we go into face select. We're going to extrude on the Z. Just pull it up, go into right orthographic. We're going to scale. So maybe a little bit more. Not constraining it to any axis at all. We just uniformly scale it all on the Y, the X and the Y. And with our move tool, just move it slightly back just to form a, let's scale it in just a little bit more. There we go. That's looking good. So in edge select, you can press the number 2 or use the vertex, edge and face select. So we want edge select, the middle one. Grab that whilst holding shift and scale on the Y just to pull that in slightly. And we're going to do the same to the edges. Holding shift to select multiple edges and scale on the Z, X even. So we've got the rough outline of the car. And to face select, just move that in. Move that in slightly. Like so. I'm going to put a edge select, an edge down the middle loop. Nice. I'm going to go for that edge, the top edge, and the back edge. Just move them up to give a slight kind of curved feel to it. And there we have it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a bumper onto the back. So in edge select, we're going to select these two. We're going to duplicate the geometry by Shift D, left click, and then we're going to extrude on the Y, into face select. I'm going to extrude on Z just to create a little bumper. I'm going to go into wireframe and I'm going to box select all these parts and bring them up slightly because it's a bit deep. Yep, that looks good to me. Go back into solid. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the grill on the front. So in face select, I'm going to I to inset to about there, then go into edge select, and we're going to slide this edge up the front of the car. So we need to press G, G. If you don't do G, G, what will happen is it will just go straight up inside the mesh, and we don't want that. We want it to follow the shape of the front of the car. And we're going to go into face select, select these two, E to extrude, left click, then we're just going to pull that forward like so. Everyone doing okay so far? Okay. So we're going to put some grill bars in. I'm just going to select this face and press period on the numpad just to zoom in slightly on it. And we're going to select this second one. We're going to duplicate by Shift D, duplicate this geometry, move it up and out. Okay, I'm going to go into edge select, grab these two, extrude on the Z, just down a bit. Let's move into side view. Just move that down slightly to give the shape, and then we're going to extrude it back on the Y. Extrude E and Y. Into right orthographic. Back into that. And then we're going to select these two edges. So we go 3 and then into wireframe. Just going to move this back slightly to follow the shape a little bit better. As you can see, I need to just pull this down slightly. These two, make it a little bit bigger. Scale on the X, so S, X, No. Just kind of bring it like that. Then we're going to copy that, so Shift D, then move it down. Shift D. Shift D. Shift D. There we have it. So that's our grill done. Let's move on to the windows and the wheels. Let's do the windows first. So Ctrl R, loop cut, and just move it to about there. Going to edge select, grab these top two, move it so there's a slight angle. It follows to the back. And then in face select, grab these two faces. I'm going to extrude, left click, scale, using like that. And we're going to extrude along the Y, so E and Y. Move it back to about there. And then we're just going to work around the car. Extrude E, scale. Extrude, no. Then we'll go to this one. Extrude, left click, scale. Like so. Hold shift, select the front one. Then we're going to extrude the Z, X even. Move them back. Grab these two faces. Extrude, left click, scale. Extrude on the Y, so E and Y. Extrude, scale. Extrude X. Like so. Everyone following along so far? Extrude, scale. Extrude Z. Okay, so there we go. We have our wheels. Okay. We'll just sort this bumper out. So if we select this face, hold shift in this face, and then scale the X, just to pull that out slightly. I just want to pull this out. So going to edge select, grab these edges and this one. Just pull it out slightly. There we go. Okay, so wheels. we're going to do Shift A to add a cylinder. Just going to quickly change the vertex count to 22. Move it away from the car. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees on the y-axis. So R, Y, 90, like so, and scale on the X to narrow it to about there, and move it towards the car. Press 3, get in roughly the right place. That looks about right. And face select, press 3, go extrude, right click, scale to the depth we want, to roughly about there. Extrude on Z, let's move it in, zoom in using mouse pad period, and then E, scale E as S to about there, and extrude, extrude on the Z, just to pull it out. So there we go, we have a wheel. So I want to now duplicate that wheel, and to do that, if I move my mouse, my cursor over the top of it and press L, it will select linked. And then we Shift D, use our move tool, move to there. Yeah, that's roughly where it is. And I want to grab this one again, so I hover over it, press L, Shift D, move it to the other side. We want to rotate on the x-axis by 180 degrees. So it's rotate Z 180. Move that back towards the car. Okay, so if we go into object mode, there we go. So our next couple of things is to put the spoiler on and the lights. So we're going to duplicate this back panel, rotate it and extrude it, and we're going to add another cylinder and add the lights. So let's go back into edit mode by pressing tab. What should I do first? Yeah, I'll do the spoiler first. So we do that, Shift D, duplicate, move it up, edge, vertex select, that one and that one, move it back, about that depth, and move the middle one in to give it its taper. Press L to select, and we're just gonna flip it on the x-axis. So rotate X 180. Lovely. And face select, grab these two faces, extrude down like so. And we need to connect the spoiler to the rest of the car. So we're going to do ctrl R, ctrl R on both sides, and ctrl R, move it along, ctrl R, like so. Then go into face select, grab these two faces, 3 for right orthographic, and then we're going to extrude straight down. Move it forward, and L to link, grab linked, and move it back. There we go. So I'm going to do the same with the wheels. We're going to add a cylinder, and so Shift A, cylinder. Yep, that's fine. Get out the front. Scale it in to give it a taper, and L, and rotate on the X by 90 degrees, so it's R, X, 90, move it back, scale it to roughly about the, press 1 to go into front orthographic, scale it just a tad. Okay, so we just face select this front, E to extrude, left click, scale, and extrude on the Y, move it back, go L to link, Shift D to duplicate, L to grab the second one, Shift D to duplicate, and move that to the back, and rotate Z 180, move them back, okay, so just little lights to put on in the front, period key to focus in on the object I'm working on, L to select linked, Shift D to duplicate, move in slightly, scale it so it's a smaller light, press 1 to go into front orthographic, just position it like so, Shift D, duplicate, okay, so there we go, we have our car. There's just a few things I want to check before I'm okay with this. So if I press A to select all, and then go to the top right hand corner of the 3D viewport where it says overlays, and I want to check face orientation. Go into object mode. Okay, so they're all blue. And it's just basically to check which way the normals are facing. So this is telling me that they're all facing outwards. Yeah, facing outwards. So when we import this into Opensim, we won't get any transparency where faces are facing inwards, but this seems to be okay. If any of these objects were red, I would go into edit mode, select the object, and then I would go to mesh, normals, recalculate outside, so that will flip the faces around the right way so that there's nothing invisible. So that's, yep, so the normals, all right. I want to select the whole object, and I'm going to remove the doubles. Let's go to mesh, clean up, merge by distance. So I've removed 4 vertices, which sometimes when you're grabbing geometry, like I did on the back to do, you can have kind of multiple edges and faces sitting in exactly the same coordinates. So that just kind of removes all of that. So our model is now ready to have materials applied to it, which Snick will be covering next week. So there we have it. Our little car is ready to go. Okay, I'm going to jump back into Firestorm now. The video will be up. I'll try and write some actual written instructions that might give you a heads up, a step by step. I shall do that. Okay, well that's our basic Blender box modeling. I shall see you in Firestorm. Okay, bye for now.